Welcome to today's Qigong gathering. Go ahead and bring your body into the Qigong stance and open up the sensations in the feelings in the feet, the most subtle, sublime, sophisticated sensations that you can cultivate access to in the foundation of your body and your connection to the place on the planet that you are standing now. And recognize that one of the essential tenets of the practice has to do with your engagement with emptiness. We are all, masters of the mind and masters of the external world, right? But the essential tenet of this kind of great good work has to do with your engagement with emptiness. Thereby, we want to, in this moment and in the many moments that follow, we want to untether from the moorings. We want to swim free from the entanglements, and we want to remember that we are part of this ponderousness that we call the void. We are part of it. It is part of us. We are 99% space. Space is inside of us, and we are in space. So often, so many of us are so concerned with the outer situations and circumstances that we have absolute amnesia around the profundity of that revelation that's always there for us to work with and to work through, and that frankly is always working its way through us, whether or not we are conscious of it. We forget that we have access to these quantum keys, that it's the subtle shifts. It's the subtle shifts that allow us to experience meaningful and sustained expansions in the quality of life affirmation in our relationships, in our work, in our family, in our sense of place within the mystery. Engagement with emptiness. So ask yourself in this moment, how can I let go? What can I let go of? And so in acknowledgement of these kind of polarities that I was just speaking to, we are going to arc the double rainbow. So watch here. I think turning to the side will be best for visibility and learning. So I'm going to begin, just watch for a second. A lot of you here in the live community, I think, have done this form at some point or another with me. But if you haven't, here it is again. So I'm going to extend and elongate from the inside of the inside, extending my right leg and anchoring down through the back of the heel, and then I'm going to hinge and cross my wrists and then come up and elongate and extend and expand through the axis of the spine now, and twist on my noisy little heels as they move on the floor, and I've twisted to the other side, and I'm going to open my arms and I'm looking beyond this middle finger, and I'm pushing life force out of the nucleus of the shoulder joints and out to the very tip of the middle fingers, and I'm going to hinge. Lots of length in the spine, and coming up. Twist. So join me, okay? So here we are back at the beginning. Right leg is fully extended. Left foot is flat. So I'm going to hinge and then sweep my arms forward so they're hovering above my right big toe, in this case, crossing the wrists. And then with a long spine and a soft sense of sustained strength in the abdomen, I'm going to slowly lift up. Right about now, I'm tucking my buttock bones down. And then I'm going to twist to face the other side. And once I've done so fully, then I'm going to open my arms, and I'm taking life force energy out from the center of my heart to the ends of my hands. And then I'm going to look beyond my right middle finger. I'm looking at you. And then I'm going to hinge hinge, lots of space, softness, subtle, supple sophistication in the malleability and the plasticity of the movement. Hinging, crossing the wrists over top of the left foot and big toe, and then inhale, coming up. Let your body catch fire. Let the movement swallow you up. Tuck your buttock bones down towards the right heel. Here we are, stretching, strengthening, fortifying through the spine. Now transition, face forward for a second there, and then face the other side. Open the arms. Push energy out from the radiance of your brain, from the compassion centers in your kind heart, and then look beyond the left middle finger. Push energy out from the nucleus of the shoulder joints through the eye of the palms of the hands. Good, now look forward. Squeeze the bones with the strong muscles in the legs. Draw your abdominal wall in to give a massage to all of the organs in the belly ring. Scoop the chi, bring the hands down. I'm stretching, I'm expanding, I'm really yielding to the wiggle, if you will, that's allowing me to unwind, to swim free from the entanglements, to untether from the moorings, and to remember that I am part of this ponderousness that we call the void. Engagement with emptiness. From a busy mind, a hyperkinetic mind, to a quiet mind, to no mind. Look forward. This is our last time for the rainbow form. Hinging with a long spine, soft shoulders, have no armor in the shoulder blades, no armor. Slip out of the adult armor and let yourself be vulnerable. Let yourself be available to the soma, the subtle, sublime, sophisticated sensations that are your quantum keys. Good. And then bring the energy down and out through the hands. Bring your hands down and through to the home base of the lower dantian here, and then rotate to face forward. So last week, if you were in class or if you watched the replay, which actually I haven't published yet, just been busy over here, really busy, in all good ways. But I was talking about how if you want different, you've got to move different, right? That's what happens when we practice. Is we move different. We're not in the neurological grooves of habituation and moving in all these sort of disastrous robotic ways that we tend to move when, you know, we're protecting the status quo and staying in the comfort zone. Whenever you make your brain work differently, which is what happens when you do these forms, whenever you make your brain work differently, you're changing your mind. Isn't that good news? You're changing your mind. You're expanding your mind. You're letting your own expressiveness find you. Inhale, breathe with that. So we're going to work with a beautiful rinsing form. This is powerful, powerful summer season detoxification. This is bear shakes off its paws. So I'd like for you to watch here for a second. I'm going to demonstrate once on each side so that you can see this cascade of articulations that happens in the midsection, in the transition. Life is about transitions, right? It's about being able to be adaptable. And you know, the beauty, I know I'm very chatty today, and I promise we'll move into the form. The beauty of these forms is that they position us, they poise us in parasympathetic nervous system dominance so that we can be responsive with all our grace and gratitude versus being reactive to the situations and circumstances, so that when life moves, we move with it, and so does our mind. All right, so bear shakes off its paws. Can you see the trembling? Again, I think a lot of you here in the live community, you've done this at some point, but it's been a little while, so I'm shaking off my paw. Notice how my knee is pointing in towards my outer knee, my right knee to the left knee in this case. I'm tipping ribs, kidneys, lungs, everything on a north-south track. So I'm not on a diagonal and I'm definitely not parallel. I'm on a north-south track. And then I'm shaking my parallel arms and I've curled my fists in towards my shoulders. And I'm getting all of the residue off the body, out of the mind, out of the field. It takes this kind of indomitability sometimes to make sure that your radiance is consistent. It's got warrior energy in it so that you can have more of a glide in the totality of your life. So let's do this thing. Bring your feet to a nice wide stance. Inhale big. Now tuck your left knee in towards the right knee. You're lifting your left heel. Good. And now already I'm beginning to make the fists. And I've brought my forearms so they're parallel. And then I'm going through these micro rotations in the trunk of my body. And now I've got my lungs, my ribs, and my kidneys all stacked up, north-south. And I'm going to begin shaking off my paws. Shake off anything that has caused dysmorphia, distortion, or dissonance in your perception, in the way in which you love being in your being. Shake it off. Good. Now rotate the left heel in, bring your forearms up, cross the wrists for a moment. Here we are. Personifications of the infinite in tandem with the ponderousness of the void. Feel it in your brain, feel it in your heart, feel it in the ball of your belly, feel it in your feet. Now tip your right knee in towards the left knee, lifting the right heel. Good. Come through all of those organic rotations with the spine. So now you're facing the left side. Bring the wrists apart. Bring the forearms into parallel alignment. Tip your lungs, ribs, and kidneys on the north-south track. Tuck your fists in towards your shoulders on a deep medicine exhale. Shake off your paws. This is a wringing out form, as if your whole body was a sponge, and then come back into it for a moment. Whenever you make your brain work differently, you change your mind. And you tell me when you did this gesture in your normal life recently. Probably never, right? So yeah, we just made our brain work differently, and thereby we changed our mind. Inhale, let the breath find you. Let the breath find you in the same way that water finds water, in the same way that light finds light, that feeling finds meaning, and that love finds love. Let your own expression, let your own inhalation find you. Letting out what is in. That's what happens when we practice. Letting out what is in. Good. Watch. Separating heaven and earth. I'm going to take a really wide, deep Qigong stance, as if I'm holding up the whole planet. And I'm going to separate heaven and earth here in this form. So I'm going to begin here with a kind of dragon ball rotation. I'm just doing this a few times. Engagement with emptiness. Feeling the breath, the most sophisticated, subtle threads of life force, of prana, of chi moving communicatively through the center of every cell. Now with my left hand on top, I'm going to paint the back of the left ear and the long side of the back of the head And then rotate my right palm to face the earth and my left palm to face the sky. I'm offering my right ear down towards the earth. I'm separating heaven and earth. And then I'm pulling my heart away from my tailbone. And I'm opening my shoulders without putting an armor on them. This is very important. Staying soft. That's what this engagement with emptiness affords us. Good, and then we'll reverse and we'll do the same thing on the other side, okay? So please find the wide, deep Qigong stance, letting out what is in. Let your own expressiveness find you, and let it lead you to the most subtle, somatic nuances that are whispering the greatest teachings for you from within you, from the inside out, inside out. Good, left hand on top. And let's go ahead and roll the dragon ball forward. And allow your whole trunk to instinctually collapse and rearrange. Sensation at the deepest level. Now this time, when your left hand is on top, feel the emptiness that you're hosting between your hands. Feel the buoyancy, the levity, and the alacrity at the dynamic level in the whole of your body. Paint the back of the left ear with the left fingertips. Bring the left palm behind the head. Rotate the right palm to the earth. Now rotate the left hand to the ceiling and push, separating heaven and earth. Now draw, without armoring up through the shoulders. Draw your heart forward, away from your tailbone. And squeeze the bones, internal force. Squeeze the bones with the musculature of the arms. Good, and now bring the left arm way forward without pulling the shoulders off of the back. Right hand on top. Good, and now go the other way. And once the right hand lands on top, paint the back of the right ear with the right fingertips. Now, right palm to the back of the head, as if you're creating a calligraphic mark on the back of the head. Rotate the left palm to face the floor and the right palm to face the ceiling, and then push. Imagine that you were pushing 100 pounds with each of your hands. Push. Without armoring up through the shoulders. And it's this softness that allows you to then expand and extend through the totem of your spinal column. I hope the room that you're practicing in right now is really hot. It is so hot and humid in this room. And for my whole adult life, as being a kind of somatic researcher, I've been a massive proponent of hot practice. Being in a room where everything can melt in your body. And that's also a quantum key that allows us to participate in that engagement with emptiness. Step the feet back together. Ground the palms. Janduan. And then bring the hands up in front. Rotate your palms to face each other. Life-affirming changes at the subtlest, most sublime dimensions. In your physical body, in your health, in your wellness, your positive mental attitude, in your work relationships, in what it is that you are creating. Feel in this moment how you are being created by what you are compelled to create. It's creating you. What are you giving your time and your energy to? And how is that shaping who you are becoming? Beautiful. Bring the feet nice and wide again. And rest your hands wherever they may land on the length of the thighs. And tuck your pelvis so that your buttock bones are straight south, which is thereby going to bring the top front portion of the big pelvic bone up towards the lowest ribs. Now find the soft snail body that's inside of the shell of the outer body. It's this adult armor that I keep talking about that many of us have put on because either we had to because life got really rough, or our own fear of being open and vulnerable has caused us to put on this armor. But in practice, especially with a commitment to our engagement to emptiness, we want to take that outer shell off so that we can move in the soft snail body. The soft snail body. So watch here, I'm going to take my right arm over to the right, and then the left arm over to the right as the right arm goes back. And so I've twisted in this moment through the trunk of my body, through the belt region and through the shoulders. And then I'm going to bring my right arm forward and open it up. And then left arm, join me. So left arm up and overhead and to the left. So two with the gaze. And then bring the right arm up and overhead to the left as the left arm goes back. Now bring the left arm, woo, I twisted a little bit so I didn't knock over the shoji. Bring the left arm up and over and then forward. And then open it up in the soft snail body. Right arm to the left and up and over. Left arm up and over to the right as the right arm goes back. Right arm is going to go up, over, and forward, and melt through it. Wave pattern through the spine. Left arm to the right, and up, and over to the left, and right arm up, and over to the left as the left arm goes back. And then bring the left arm forward. Beautiful. And collapse. And rearrange through it. Step the feet together. Ground the hands. Let your own willingness to feel be a framework for deeper freedom in beingness, in the multitudes that you contain. Your own willingness to feel. Take this moment to feel what you are feeling. How amazing to have a moment like that. Good, so we're going to come back into this same deep squat. And we're going to bring the index fingers to conjoin with the thumbs. And then tuck the buttock bones down and the low ribs in. And take the arms out to the side. So, really slow motion. I'm going to take the left arm around in the orbit vicinity of the brain and out to the left. And then the right arm around the orbit vicinity of the brain and out to the right. Okay, so you're going to alternate the arms and you're working with all of the subtle connective tissues in your neck. No armor in the shoulders of the body, okay? Now see if you can work with the prefrontal lobe of the brain and stimulate it by doing this same fluid form while enduringly looking at the tip of the nose. And I promise that's going to challenge your balancing in your body, but in all good ways, okay? So sitting down into it, and then looking at the tip of the nose. So this business of looking at the tip of the nose, it creates that kind of pressurization. We need pressurization in order to transform. Looking at the tip of the nose. Don't forget to breathe. Good. Now bring both hands as you straighten the legs. Both hands please in front of your shoulders. Relax the armor of the shoulders. Rotate the left toes forward and then the right toes forward so the inner lines of your feet are now parallel. Bend the knees. Relax your buttock bones deep south. High point of the pelvic bone is kind of magnetizing up towards the bottom ribs. And then pushing mountains forward. Now bringing space back. Ponderousness of the void in you. The stillness, the silence that is capable of curing all in you. One more. Again, in the way that water finds water and light finds light, in the way that feelings find meaning and love finds love. In this moment, let your own self-expression find you. So, what it is you came here to do and who it is that you came here to be can find its way out like a river of kindness moving into the world from your inner world. Step the feet together. Bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. Inhale deep. Feel evidence, the grace of this breath through every center and system, through every cell, through every bone, through every wet channel in the rivers of blood in your body, in your lymph, in your brain, in your imagination, and in your connection to the unknown. Thank you so much